You're listening to littlepodcast.com.
Why you gotta take it there?
Retake. This isn't gonna work.
We're not talking about any integrity in
We
this
are
room.
trying to exploit a generation.
Ever tell you about that time when I paid for Chinese food with the DVD? The grease is the gravy.
You guys playing footsie under the table?
Well, yes, but that's irrelevant. I can smell Pepto-Bismol from here. It tastes like an antacid tablet. Why are there so many Draculas everywhere? No, there's vampires everywhere.
Welcome to Born in the 80s, episode 218. I'm your host, John Rowe, joined by my co-host,
Matt Haig.
Matt Hag. We're hamless.
Hamless.
Matt, why is Adam not here? Why did you drive him away?
He had to save a family of raccoons from a bear attack.
All right, that's the totally not lame excuse that he gave. Adam Ham. You know, I should start calling him Frosted Flakes.
I'm not sure if I know what that means.
That's okay.
All right.
Cornflakes. Fish food. Trying to think of other things. I can't think of any other things that are like maybe like a baklava. A biscuit. With many layers.
Oh, I get where you're going with this now.
All right. Well,
Like some sort of croissant.
yeah, croissant. That's good. I'm trying to think of other things though, without saying the actual word. And it's a real good mind experiment. Anyway, no, but he is out this week, so it'll be just Matt and I on the 1s and 2s, 3s and 4s, 5s and 6. Matt, can I get a little ditty? Thank you. That was Hot Cross Buns. One of Matt. Is that Hot Cross Buns?
No, that was Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Fuck. It's one of the 2 songs they teach you on the recorder. Did you learn the recorder in like 4th grade?
I did. I still have a recorder here somewhere.
Yeah, I remember learning the recorder in... It must have been like a Wisconsin like mandate. Our children must learn the recorder. So oh dear God, I think the recorder is oh Jesus, it's probably the worst sounding instrument like ever.
It is. It's terrible.
It's like I don't know why. It's just the timbre of the notes are just really kind of screechy.
So there are real recorders that are like German folk instruments that are made out of wood and sound glorious.
Yeah,
but
I think
like
the wood.
the plastic one they give to children is just awful.
Oh, I know. And you can always tell like a family that has a child that's in 4th grade because you could just hear that recorder blasting through the walls. Because like no wall will stop a child's recorder. I remember when I played the trumpet, I had practiced outside when we lived out in the country. Because it was like, well, I'm not annoying my parents.
Yeah.
And you got to imagine as like a parent, that's going to be the worst thing. Because your like
Exactly.
kid is trying to like play an instrument and be like good and artsy and instrumental and learning a skill, and you're just like, please stop. It's so loud.
Yeah, like the gauntlet you have to get through to be good sounding is just so awful.
Yeah.
Especially with like reeded instruments like clarinets and saxophones.
Yeah.
There's a real steep learning curve on those.
Trumpet's pretty easy. That's what I played, but the thing with the trumpet though is it may be easy to get a good sound because as long as you got your buzzing in your mouth going and you got that noise, it's going to come out. You can't really get off notes, because it just does notes depending on what valves you have on or off. It's just loud as shit. It's so loud,
It doesn't get squeaky like a reed instrument would, but there you can make some pretty awful sounds with the trumpet.
Oh, I know. I did all the time. That's why I continued it in college. I thought about joining the college band. I think there was a no audition band that you could join.
Yeah, I was in that.
I wish I would have done it because I don't know.
I played the euphonium.
I feel like I could. It helped me be able to read music, and I can't read music at all, and that really hinders me as a singer. because I can't read the notes. I have no clue like what each note is and what that should sound like. I guess that's kind of always the trouble though with singing. Because you can see what the note is on the page, but you can't hear it in your head really. If you give me the first note, I can usually find my way up and down, and depending on the sharps and flats and stuff. But you know, it's rough.
Yeah.
So it actually might make it better for me as a singer, because basically, whenever I sing in like a choir or something, I have to have the song memorized basically because I can't read it, very well. So, I mean, it works out.
And with choir, you're not really singing exact pitches anyway. You have to just kind of fit into the chord.
Yes, correct.
So you're going more by your ears anyway.
Yeah, which is fine. And I've sang solos before, but those have been heavily rehearsed. So I can hit them. One of the scariest moments of my entire life was in my senior year in high school. I was in the choir, and I was the only guy in my senior, choir, or in the choir as a senior. So, I grew up in a small town, class of like 80. So nobody else sang but me in my class as a guy. And I had to sing Josh Groban's "You Raised Me Up" in front of everyone. And I sounded all right, if I remember correctly. But it was terrifying because that song gets really high. And I have a pretty, broad range singing. I can probably sing tenor 1 all the way down to bass 1. I can't sing super low. But I can't not falsetto the tenor 1 part, which is what Mr. Groban does. I can't hit those without going into my head voice. And so it doesn't sound as good. So I tried to belt it, and it was bad. It was hard, especially the verse where it goes high. Did you sing?
Yeah, I was in choir for a few semesters in college. I was one of them tenors.
Yeah, one of them tenors.
I have a pretty narrow singing range, though.
Mine's really wide. Whenever I sing in a choir, it's just like, whatever you need me as a guy. I'm baritone. You know what I mean? I can go up, I can go down a step from baritone. So I have the typical male baritone. Like, I can go a little high, go a little low. I can do a little bit of everything. But yeah, that's a nice skill to have. I'm going to be singing this weekend, if people want to check that out, at a wedding that I'm going to as part of a choir. So I've been practicing that music. It's pretty easy.
Where can I check that out?
Well, in Freeport, Illinois. It'll already have happened when this episode is aired. So if you do have Tracer's ability to rewind time, and your cooldown has refreshed, you might be able to go back a few days and catch that in Freeport, Illinois. I don't actually know what church it's going to be at. Probably one of them churches in that town. But yeah, I don't know. But Matt, you're a music guy.
Yeah.
You're MattHagMusic.com.
I try to be.
So, speaking of music, this week I've been listening to music at work. And I've been listening exclusively to musical soundtracks.
Really?
Two of them.
Hamilton and.
Could you guess? Okay, you guessed one of them.
That's the only one that I know of that's popular.
What was the super popular musical in 2011?
2011.
Yes, 2011, 2012.
Oh, that's so long ago.
As big as Hamilton was, this was.
The Book of Mormon?
Yep. So I listened to that as well. I don't think I could do that show. I can't sing that high. Those are all tenor parts.
Really?
Especially Josh Gad's part, which is the part physically I would look like I would be able to play. The dopey, overweight nerd guy, which I could play, but I don't know if I could sing. Because have you listened to that soundtrack?
I have not.
He is incredible in that soundtrack because he is just I don't know. You should listen to the Book of Mormon soundtrack. It's on all of the streaming services now, I believe. I listen to it on Google Music. But he sings insanely, just all over the place. I don't know. He does some crazy stuff with his voice, and Andrew Rannells does the other part. I know I'm a little late to the party, as this is 2016. That's 5 years after this premiered. but it's really good music. I think you'd really like it, Matt. If you like South Park.
They wrote all the music too, right?
Yep.
Because I know that Trey Parker...
Mostly, yeah. Trey Parker is, I think, was he music person, like music major or something? He plays piano and sings and stuff, so he knows how to do music. And
he's the one that did Cannibal the Musical, right?
Yes, correct. Him and Matt Stone actually together did that in college.
Oh, it was
I
both
believe.
of them.
Yes, they met in college and did that one. So that's pretty awesome. Cannibal the Musical, if you haven't seen it, is also incredibly good. Excellent music in that. But Book of Mormon is definitely not bad. Definitely not a kid show. The amount of F-bombs in that soundtrack are astronomical. The main antagonist, because it's basically two Mormon elders, as they're called, I guess, go on a mission, on their mission, because everyone who's like a Mormon missionary goes on like a 2-year mission to a different place in the world, basically. And then he gets selected with Josh Gad, who's like the dropout, bad Mormon guy, and Andrew Rannells is like the super, way into the church, perfect guy, and he gets stuck with the loser, and they go to Uganda, and they're immediately robbed as soon as they get there, and all their stuff's taken away, and they get to this village, and everyone's starving, and one of the lyrics is 80% of us have AIDS. It's just bad situation. And the evil warlord that oversees the town is named General Buttfucking Naked. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. It's really messed up, though. But the musical's really funny and great, and everyone should see it, although you can't see it because I still think it's not out for, people to license it yet. I think it just is touring companies that do it now. National tours. So I think the West End has a show as well, but Hamilton's the new hot shit. That came out.
Yeah, what's the deal with that? I see that everywhere.
Have you listened to the soundtrack?
Nope.
Matt listened to the soundtrack. It is that is why it's so good. The soundtrack is 3 hours long. The musical is 3 hours long. So basically all of it is sung, like Les Mis. There isn't any a lot of dialogue scenes, whereas Book of Mormon, the soundtrack's an hour, so you have to imagine there's a lot of spoken parts and scenes in that one. So
yeah.
But holy cow, is that good? I can't recommend that soundtrack enough. I don't know a way to describe it. Let's clickety clack over to Wikipedia and see what I want to see what the description of the genre of this Hamilton musical. All right. Okay, these are songs that come up when I search. All right, so... all right, here we go. Let's see. Does it say what type of music it is? I always like to get a description that's not me trying to describe it, because I would probably murder the description of the type of music. It's not typical. For instance, there's a lot of rapping in it. It's I'm serious. A lot of hip-hop kind of stuff and R&B type music.
I would not have expected that.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, the cast is mostly black actors. Lin-Manuel Miranda is, I don't know if he's an immigrant, but he's Puerto Rican in descent, his family is. So, but it's really awesome. I mean, it's basically just a show about kind of Alexander Hamilton's life, growing up as a bastard orphan in the Caribbean, making it to the U.S., being part of the Revolutionary War, being part of, fighting with Thomas Jefferson over stuff, kind of starting the two-party system of American politics and stuff, and it's just incredible. The music is incredible. That is what's so good about it. I can understand. And I was just like, you know what? I should probably go see this. I've never been to a Broadway play before. I was like, I have to go see this. Matt, you can't see this musical.
Oh, yeah, because it's sold out. There's huge wait lists.
It's sold out all the way through the end of the summer, basically, until the tour starts in the fall. So you can only get tickets through third party. I looked at Ticketmaster, and mezzanine seats for a matinee performance, $800. So, nope. And that's what I hate about Broadway, because
Yeah.
The only people that are going to see it now are people like that tech billionaire who got into a argument with a ticket person outside because the tickets he'd purchased on StubHub were fake. And he pulled the "Do you know who I am?" card. So it's basically kind of a show that people who are like really rich now like go to as like a status thing, which kind of bothers me. But I mean, I guess I don't know what you can do. They do a lottery every show for like cheap tickets, but you have to like basically win a waitlist lottery each time a show's there. So unless you want to like go to New York for a week and then like try and get the lottery every single day and hopefully hit a show, you're not going to be able to see it. So it kind of sucks because I'd like to see it with the original cast. But they're going to tour. They'll be in Chicago in the fall, like September. So maybe I'll try and see it then, but it won't be the original cast probably for the tour. So wah wah. But yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
You really have to. Holy shit! I'm not a musical person. Generally, I'm not like way into musicals. Although now I kind of am because I'm like way into these musicals. But it is fucking good though, man. The music is great. So congrats on that guy for making a great show. Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Good job, Mr. Hamilton.
Yep, good job. He plays the lead part. He wrote it and created it and all that. Plays the lead part, so that's pretty awesome. But for Book of Mormon, that was Trey Parker, Matt Stone, and then the guy who did Avenue Q. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So the guy who created that. So like basically, I think the story of them was they were in New York for something, and their producer. On South Park was actually Team America World Police. Their producer's like, well, you guys are in town. You have to see Avenue Q because they use like marionettes and puppets and stuff in their show, and it's kind of a musical but funny, kind of like the way that movie is, like with all the songs.
Yeah.
And so
I've heard the Avenue Q soundtrack.
Yeah, I haven't. I should listen to that one. I'm sure I'd really like it. But they were just like, you should see this guy. And then afterwards they met and they were like, we should do a show together. And so they basically wrote over, and that was in like 2006. So over 5 years they wrote this musical, and they came out in 2011. So yeah, I'm a little late on the party in that one, but I got to it. I can get a hearty Born in the 80s recommendation to both musicals. So, but yeah, I was actually thinking about literally spending the money to take a trip out to see this musical. If like a ticket per person was like, I think the max I was going to do was like $300. That would hurt, hurt my bottom line, but I think it could be worth it, like $600 for the tickets, $200 for a hotel, maybe $200 in gas both ways. I could swing it. $1,000 to see this thing, but I could have done it. But $800 a seat was a bit much, so unfortunately I don't think I'll be able to see it, which sucks because it's incredible. Yeah, so that's me. I've been Captain Music this week, too. I've been just sitting at my desk doing science, writing up, data reports and stuff, and listening to Hamilton and tap my feet along. So, yep. Here we go.
Sounds like a party.
Yep, time for Running with Scissors tradition. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
Red's green apple ale.
I didn't remember that was a tradition.
It was.
That was a whole lifetime ago.
A whole lifetime ago, back in the old little podcast studios. Remember that?
Oh, man. Yeah.
I never used that studio, but I helped pay for it.
Yeah. We had all these big plans, and then Tyler and I were the only ones that used it. Well, I guess we used it to record Rob's show and the Mad Stage podcast and stuff.
That studio was fun, but it wasn't really built for podcasting. Like, there wasn't really music or internet.
It was built for bands to practice in.
Yeah, not more of a connected studio. I was thinking, well, when first we wanted to try and get a studio to do shows at, I wouldn't be able to do my show there, of course, because originally I had Lance and Adam, and they both worked like second shift, so we'd have to like get there at like 10 o'clock, and it would be weird because we would just kind of hang out at my place afterwards. It was kind of like a whole thing, whereas, not just showing up each week to a studio. But, you could just get an office building, you know what I mean? Just because they sell, like, single offices and like office buildings, and you could just get like a conference room.
Yeah.
For probably more than we were paying, but not much more, like 150 a month or something like that, maybe 200. So, which is a lot, but you know, if it's something you really wanted to do, like it could work, you know, for a podcast studio. But
now our studio is the internet.
that's right. Well, it works. The show sounds pretty good through Google Hangouts most of the time, except for when Adam's internet breaks and your voice channel runs out of buffer memory. I'm assuming is what happens.
Yeah, I don't know. I've noticed it gets real crunchy sounding sometimes too. So I think like sometimes my internet speed just sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine's great.
It'll downgrade the audio to voice mode or whatever.
Yeah, that's so weird. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I've been listening to. What have you been up to?
Well, John, have you ever had a panic attack?
Why, Matt, yes I have.
I thought that might be an interesting thing to talk about because I had one this Monday and it sucked.
Yeah, they do suck.
I get them occasionally, but not very often. And this was like the last time I've had one was a couple months ago.
Uh-huh.
But it just like, okay, so for people that are listening that have never had one, for me it's like I start feeling
it's kind of different for everybody.
I'd start feeling very warm and like that's probably adrenaline or something.
Yep.
And then shortness of breath and lots of dry heaves. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like the physiological fight or flight stuff. And then the mental side of it is all of a sudden every self-doubt you've ever had comes circling in and creating this like vortex of suck that perpetuates itself.
Yeah.
So like the shitty thing about it is it literally knocks you out for like a day. Yeah. But then while you're incapable of doing stuff, you start to feel guilty about not doing stuff.
Yeah.
It gets worse.
Well, it's kind of funny because like it's kind of one of those things if you've never had, you know, a panic attack or an episode like that, you're just kind of like, well, you look fine. Like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Like, you can't go to work. You know, it's like, and then you feel bad but it's a real thing that happens.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm experienced at them enough now that I can kind of like, if it starts to kick in while I'm at work or something, I could do breathing exercises and put it off. But there's no making it go away. It just has to go away on its own. Yeah. So I just kind of lay there and wait. Or if it's really bad, I just like drop some Benadryl and knock myself out for a couple hours.
Yeah, that's what I've heard is a good way to do it. So back when I had panic attacks, I haven't had one in a long time. I've gotten over them. I think. I don't know. I'm sure I could have one.
You better
at some
knock
point.
on some wood or something.
Yeah. Well, no. At least the type of panic attacks that I have are the type that I can get over.
Okay.
Because I got experience when it was happening a lot, like every day or every other day.
Oh yeah.
I worked when I worked at a software company where my job was exceedingly stressful. I was bad at it. I was worried I was going to get fired all the time. It was just a really bad, stressful situation, and my panic attacks would just be, my heart would start racing, like 120, 130 beats per minute, like I was, you know, racing, basically, like doing like heavy workout, you know, and just sitting there, and then, you know, I'd start getting shortness of breath, and I would start that, and then your mind basically is like, you're dying right now.
Yeah.
Like, you are going to fall over and be dead. And that is what's happening. Your heart is going to explode, and you're going to not be alive anymore. And it just like those thoughts in your mind just race. Your mind just, and it's crazy because it's such a interesting thing that your body is built to do this to you. Because the whole idea is the panic attack is supposed to happen when, you know, the fucking saber-toothed tiger jumps through your cave, and it's like, shit, I need to go. So you start sweating, you know, to like get the heat starting to get out of your body. Heart starts racing so that your blood's pumping to all your muscles so you can run. You know, it's just like it's the fight or flight, you know. Yeah,
and I always dry heave a lot, and I also usually have to go to the bathroom immediately because my body's like, get it all out.
That's how it works, though. That's like you just are like, yeah. For me, it would just be racing heart and like shortness of breath. So I had been to doctors for it because I was just like, what is this? Is it a heart condition? They're like, no, your heart's fine. And they're just like, it's probably just anxiety. And so they were like, do you want to do an anxiety drug? And I was like, I don't want to be on any long-term prescriptions. I want to try and do this some other way, and so I got prescribed Xanax as a rescue thing. Like, so
that's like a quick response thing.
Yep, they're like, if you it's getting really bad and you're having a hard time controlling it, take a Xanax, lay down.
Yeah.
You'll calm down, fall asleep, or you'll just relax because it'll slow you down, basically.
See, I'm on Prozac now, but I don't have anything that, like, in case of emergency, take this. So I've thought about looking into that, but it doesn't happen frequently enough that I think I would need it, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. For me, it was happening a lot. But honestly, the thing was getting out of that situation, getting out of that mindset, just changing my life for the better, basically, which caused me to be unemployed for 6 months. But in the end, I found a job I like a lot more and get paid about the same, and I don't have panic attacks. So it's pretty darn good.
I know exactly what caused mine on Monday, too. It was too many days of not exercising, not getting enough sleep, and just spending too much time worrying about the Fallout video and just trying to
trying to get it,
push myself too hard. And then on top of that, the stress of spending way too much time on this video, and if nobody watches it after spending 6 months on it, that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Well,
so I just started spiraling myself.
Yeah. What can you do? When I have my stuff, this sucks that Adam's not here because he could talk about this as well.
Does he get them too?
Oh yeah. Same way I kind of do, actually. We've talked about it before, but I don't want to talk about him because he's not here. But
he's busy baking French pastries.
Yes. Yep. Baking French pastries, getting in there. Like a well cooked fish. And with a fork, you can. It's just he is out. But when I would have my panic attacks, it would be like just a heart rate thing, and I could get out of it by slowing my heart rate and calming myself down, basically. So what I would do, I would be either lay down. There's multiple times when I would be working at Epic. I would be at a party this happened, or I was playing poker, and this is why I don't like to play poker a lot, because in a social situation, and then when you're playing poker, you got that adrenaline going because you got bets and stuff, and you're hoping it just makes your heart go faster to begin with, and that would trigger it sometimes. So I was at a friend's place when I worked at the software company, and there was one time where we were at a party, and I was just I just went outside and laid down on the grass by myself and just looked up and was I just need to lay down for a bit. I gotta get this recovered. People are, and then of course everyone's trying to be nice and are you okay? Okay? Which makes it worse. Because then you're oh, I'm the weird guy who's freaking out on the lawn during this party that we're having. So no, but I was fine. I got better. But basically what I would do would be breathing and counting breaths and counting to 10 and doing that over again. But the thing I would do that worked the best, and this is what, when some doctor asked how I did it, they said, whoa, you shouldn't do that, but it works, is I just hold my breath until my heart rate slows down.
Oh, yeah. I've tried that too. That's kind of like breathing into a bag.
Yeah, they said you shouldn't do that because it's bad for you, but I was you can't kill yourself by holding your breath. You're not going to knock yourself out.
Yeah, at worst you'd knock yourself out and
your body
start breathing normally.
Isn't going to let you kill yourself by holding your breath. What happens is you are unable to continue holding your breath, and then you'll pass out and you'll start breathing while you're passed out. No, but I would just slow it down. You could feel the heart rate slowly going down, and then once it started getting slower, I would start breathing again. I would be fine, or it would go back up, and I would do it again, and it would be over. And I'd be oh, okay, so I'm not dying. I can control this with my breathing. It's not that I'm dying. I'm just freaking out right now. I need to go lay down, splash my face with water, just do a little bit of the...
I'll usually take an hour and a half long shower or something.
Luckily, I never had any nausea. I know a lot of people have nausea when they have panic attacks.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the nausea camp.
I don't have that at all. I never get nauseous. I have an iron stomach when it comes to that. Other than, I can't eat General Tso's chicken or sesame chicken.
Oh, really?
No, anything with breading and kind of sweet sauce or sugary, breading and sauce together for me, just something just turns in my stomach. I don't know. When I must have eaten something bad at one point, and when I get that, Because I used to love General Tso's chicken. I can't eat it anymore.
Yeah.
Because if I get it, it's just too much carb and sugar. My stomach just like, nope, this is bad. It needs to be out now. Yeah, so. So I'm glad you feel better. You got past it, you know?
Yeah. Do you ever get like aftershocks after yours?
Oh, yeah. It would just come back for a second and you'd be like, no.
Well, even like days after, like Tuesday, I was probably at like 50% capacity. And then by yesterday, I was fine.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's not even so much like I'm still in the panic attack, but it's more like it's a hair trigger for like I could get back into it easily.
Yeah. Your body.
But I discovered that like making it as public as possible takes the power away from it and makes me feel better. So that's what I'm doing now.
No, that's totally fine. Whatever it takes, man. Like I like talking about it too, because
it was weird. Like as soon as I posted I'm having a panic attack on Facebook, I was like, okay, there's like a small pressure valve opened up now.
Yeah, it's like people know what I'm going through now, and they have a real, you know, like if I don't know, like you know what I mean. Just feel like
it's super common too. Like
oh yeah,
people never used to talk about that kind of stuff, but now everybody's talking about it.
Yeah. Definitely. My God. Wait, what order is this? Amazon? Order?
What's happening?
Sorry, I just got an email about an Amazon order, and it says confirming benefits. Oh, the shipped. Okay, because Lauren's birthday's coming up, so I ordered her some gifts.
Oh, good.
Keep
an eye on that.
Yeah, I just wanted to see because it's saying your benefits are coming in, and it's like I didn't. Okay, it's arriving. I was like, okay, cool. So I ordered a bunch of stuff with from Amazon Prime with the like I'll take a while shipping, and I got like a $6 off a Prime pantry box deal thing.
Oh,
so I was like, birthday's on the 10th of June. If I order this now, it'll still get here on like the 3rd, so it's fine. But they just packed all of my stuff together into one now because I ordered more stuff today, including the Hamilton soundtrack and the story of how it was made hardcover book and the sheet music.
You're really going all in on this.
Well, Lauren likes it as well, so I figured that's a good gift because she was actually saying how much she wanted to have the sheet music to that. So
yeah, it makes sense.
I got that. She doesn't listen to this podcast, so this is not spoiling it. Unless she does, which maybe she does, and then she'll be like that. But no, I got her the Night of the Seven Kingdoms book, which is the George R.R. Martin short story collection of the tales of Duncan the Tall and Egg, his squire, which take place way before the series, Game of Thrones time period. And then the first 3 Preacher trade paperback novels, because I'm going to start watching that show, and Lauren's going to watch it, and she expressed interest in reading them. So I was like, well, these are $10 a piece, so I'll get 3 of them, and a book and some soundtracks. So, yeah, I'm excited to get this on Saturday while I'm not here. Because I'll be at the wedding, but whatever. Yep. So there's my, I'm getting all my stuff done. I got my oil change today. I'm like getting everything taken care of. Oh shit.
My check engine light's been on for a couple of days. I'm just gonna ignore it till it goes away.
Yeah, that's always a good idea. But I'll have something to talk about next week because on Monday I'm going to Monday Night Raw. WWE presents Monday Night Raw in Green Bay. So I will be in the crowd on television possibly. So we'll have to see if you can see me and our sign. Lauren wants to bring a Hail Ants sign.
Are you going to throw a folding chair into the ring?
I will be too far away. We are sitting on the upper, not the upper bleachers, but the bleachers, like the 3rd row up, like on the left of the camera. So we'll possibly be on camera, but not a lot. So I don't know. Not too close to interfere or hit a wrestler or slap him on the back. All those things you see people do on TV. Those tickets were too expensive. The ringside seats are like $500. So
really,
yeah,
for wrestling,
yeah. Those ringside seats are great, but the ringside seats are like a premium package. They call it like the VIP.
Okay.
And they give a lot of those seats away to like local charities and stuff. So you'll see like kids that are like cancer kids and stuff in the front row.
Okay.
All sorts of stuff. So they have a lot to give away near the front. But then the VIP section is you get to go backstage and stuff. They're like before the show, so like show up an hour and a half early, and they're like, "Come on backstage, and we'll give you like a time to sign autographs and do a meet and greet with all the people." So I was like, "That's kind of cool." You know what I mean? Like it's expensive, but you get pretty good treatment from it. But too much. I'd rather just pay $80 for the regular seats. So that'll be fun though, up in Green Bay. And that's why I took Tuesday off of work as well, because I'm not driving back.
Yeah, that's like a 3-hour drive.
Yep. So probably get back here around 2. Yeah, I'm not waking up to go to work in 5 hours. So hopefully this is recording, huh?
Is that a question?
No, it is.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's funny because there was an episode that Adam and I recorded to break it down. Get in the sausage factory. Is that the phrase?
It's like a festival of sausages.
To see how the sausage.
I think
is
it's going to
made.
be a festival of sausages this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's Bratfest weekend. I'm probably going to stay as far away from that as possible.
Sausage Festival. That's the episode title. No, but we had recorded an episode, Coacher, if you remember that. Adam and I spent an hour and a half recording an episode that was like one of the favorites I ever had done. And then I realized that I hadn't hit the start record button.
Oh, man.
And it was gone. And the worst part about it was that I freaked out and I closed it. And I didn't realize that the player, as long as you have the Hangout open before you start it, it actually goes back until you like opened it. So even if it's not recorded, there's still like a live stream that only the people that are in it can access. So I totally could have like scrubbed the audio by playing that into like a capture service or something and gotten it. But I had closed it and there was no way to get it back. And I looked online. I was like, there has to be a way. It's being recorded, even if it's not getting saved. It's got to be on a server somewhere. There's got to be something.
Somewhere on Google's servers.
Nope. So we just recorded it again like the next week or something. And it just sucked because, so much was lost. And I actually had, before I moved, a Post-it note on my monitor that said, "Hit the record button, you fucking idiot." And I would look at it and be like, "Yep, all right, gotta remember to hit that." So,
Oh, yeah. There was an episode of Rob's show, 10 Minutes About Your Favorite Movie, that I recorded. And, like, my audio interface, the USB cord wasn't plugged into the laptop I was using, like, well enough. Or
no.
there was something wrong with the USB jack on the laptop or something. But it was this like super weird thing where it was recording, but somehow the time sync was off. So when I played back the recorded file, it was really fast and like chipmunky.
Oh no.
And there was no way to fix it.
Oh, it could have been like 5 minutes by your favorite movie.
Yeah.
Because it was running at double speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always the worst, but it happens in every podcast.
Yeah.
There's always a lost episode just because of the way the technology works.
Well, ever since then, whenever we recorded, I had him set up his like Zoom recorder for a backup.
Have a backup. I should buy one of those. Those seem so handy.
I want one, yeah.
You get really decent sound quality out of those tabletop recorders, actually, especially in like a smaller room that's pretty well acoustically.
Yeah, since Rob moved to Minnesota, the most recent episodes he's just recorded with his recorder.
Yeah.
And they sound fine. I do a little bit of like noise reduction on them, but not much.
Yeah, I don't have to do any for this show, but yeah, the way we could get into the sausage factory of this episode and this show.
Let's dive deep in the sausage factory.
The last episode had a lot of editing in it because I
really enjoyed that though.
Did you listen to that part? Oh
yeah.
My fucking god. That music you got was so exactly what I had in my head, and because it's the Ken Burns Civil War.
Yeah.
So you watch those Ken Burns documentaries?
Oh yeah.
I watch all of them multiple times. I've seen baseball all the way through 3 times. I've seen he didn't do the West, but it's like Kevin Burns Presents the West, but it's like done just like Ken Burns. It was some other guy. And I've
Just
watched
some
that
other
one.
narrator?
No.
Or no?
Like, I don't know how to describe it. I guess he produced it, but he didn't direct it and create it. It was some other.
Yeah,
like,
I've seen that
historian.
one too, though. I just always thought he did it.
No, it's because it's exactly like the way he does them, like with
Yeah.
the voiceovers and the music and the text and the images. So I've watched that one. I've watched The War, which is about World War II, Civil War, all of them, like multiple times, because that's what I watch to fall asleep.
I love that in iMovie, the slow panning photograph effect was called the Ken Burns effect.
Nice. That's what it is.
Yeah.
He did that. No, but the music, I just kind of threw that in a secondary track underneath the audio. But basically, I get the audio because we record on Google Hangouts on air, which allows you to get pretty decent quality microphone studio. There's not a lot of mixing you can do after the fact because
Yeah, because it's all in one track.
yeah, it's all on one track. So I have to make sure everyone sounds good before we start. Because if you have multiple tracks, you can just mix people's volume or decibels up and down separately. And I used to do that when we first started it because Adam and I would record over Skype, and then we would just record an Audacity wave, and then I would just take the two raw waves together and make it. Issue with that is that the timing is off every single time I recorded. Because if you have a different processor, the recording speed is different. Which sounds insane when you think about it.
It is insane.
But it's the way it works, because I guess with the processing speed, if you have a slower computer, it's gonna take longer to record, and so it's just milliseconds longer, and then after an hour and a half of podcast, that's like up to 5-6 seconds of lag. Like if you just line them up when we did like a clapping thing to like get the lineup, so I could get the waveforms lined up, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I would have them go 1, and I would go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I could line those up.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it would just be like, oh, so Adam, oh, well, thanks for visiting us this week, and we'll see you next week. And then it would be like, duh, 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 and be like, all right, that was pretty good. And Adam's like, yeah, see you next week. I'm like, what the fuck? We're like 5 whole seconds off.
Yeah.
So I would actually have to go through that. And then what I started doing is at the end of the recording, we would do a count up. And then I would basically like find a spot in the middle and split it where we both weren't talking. And then drag his out or drag mine out so that the both ends matched. And then I would have to go back to the middle and listen and cut parts so that it sounded like it was together. It was a fucking nightmare.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, and it probably wouldn't be a problem except that he was recording on his shitty, like, 5-year-old laptop, and I was using my new
I'm sure
computer.
if you were, like, closer in CPU speeds, it would
Yeah.
have been And if you have, like, certain audio programs you can stretch, but, like, a lot of the times that just doesn't sound good.
No, and
Like, it'll start sounding super metallic-y or something.
yeah, and so that took a lot of time to edit, and I eventually got it working just fine. And it would sound okay, but like it was a bitch to get that way. So now we mix live, record live on Google Hangouts on air.
We do it live.
We do it live, and that exports to YouTube. And then on YouTube, you can download the MP4 off of your channel, and then I can convert the MP4 into a lossless wave. It's already lost because it's an MP4, but
Can you download that straight from the creator
Yep.
area?
Mhm.
Okay, good.
You just right click and download MP4. And then I mix that into a wave, save it as a wave file, and then I take it into Adobe. It's Audition. Adobe Audition. I have a copy of 3.0 that I have legally, kind of.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that was the last version of Adobe Audition before the Creative Cloud, I think.
Yes. So I got a copy through like school license.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, through like a student license through a college. And so I still have the disc with the CD key that works. So I actually have I created an ISO image of it that I have saved. So in case the disc is ever bad or I don't have a way, I can use the ISO image to mount it and install it on any computer. So
Nice.
yeah, because it's the best software.
I'm surprised
for audio
that still
editing.
works with you. Do you have Windows 10?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no problem.
I'm surprised that works with Windows 10.
It works buttery smooth. Other than I
That's
can't
super
record
old.
into it
Oh, okay.
because
But you can use it to process things.
I can use it to edit. So it's so weird. I can't record into it. It won't. I guess it just doesn't see any of my USB mics or any sound input devices. And it's probably an
weird.
update that I need to get done, but they don't support it anymore, so it can't. I don't know. I don't care because Audacity, which is a free program, works really well for sound capture.
Yeah,
just
Audacity's nice.
just straight sound capture, it works great. Like professionally used as well, because it literally just records
'cause-
raw audio.
And like all you need is it to record at a high enough bit rate with like low overhead.
Yep.
And it's a really low overhead program.
Yep.
So even though I have a nicer program too, I do all my editing in Ableton Live. I'll usually record in Audacity if I'm
Yeah.
doing like a mobile thing or something.
Just a heads up too, if you're someone who wants to get into podcasting or someone who wants to get into radio and stuff, like I volunteered at a college radio station and did stuff a couple years ago, and they use Adobe Audition 3 for all of their editing as well. A lot of radio stations use it. Actually, I went to
That's awesome.
a radio station in Madison that uses Audition 3.0.
Oh yeah, I went to that radio station too.
Yeah, you were there, and I was like, shit, I know how to edit this. Like, fuck, I use this all the time for my show. So, yeah, that's a pretty cool program. I don't, what's the other one that a lot of places use? Is there like a Final Cut Pro for audio?
GarageBand?
No, it's another Apple-y wanky fucking program that only is on Apple.
I don't know Apple stuff too well.
It's just dumb because it's not GarageBand. It's Pro Logic, right?
I think
God.
I think Logic is cross-platform.
God, what the fuck was it?
Logic is good for live stuff because if you're running your audio through effects and then out speakers, it's got real low latency.
Yeah, for sure. God, it's not Final Cut Pro. It's something like that. The Pro Tools. God, I knew it had a fucking generic name.
Oh, that's not Apple.
Oh, it isn't?
No, that's Avid. That was the like industry standard for the longest time.
Yeah, and it's actually not even that expensive. Holy shit.
No.
It's only $300. Compared to a lot of other things that you can buy. If you've never been a person who's been like, I want to get some video editing or audio editing software, be prepared, because for a long time, I think Photoshop, the creative Adobe, before they started doing the Creative Cloud stuff, they had their full like creative package, which was like
the
Photoshop
suite was
and
like
all that. It was like
$1,000.
it was like $800 for like the base one that had like Photoshop, the video editor, audio, Adobe Audition, like all the like basic ones without all the like super fancy like Illustrator and stuff.
Yeah.
The templates that they would get, those were like, yeah.
I'm signed up for the Creative Cloud now, which is like, I think.
Well, that
$50
makes
a month.
sense if you use it a lot. Like,
Yeah, because I use Premiere, After Effects, Illustrator, Photoshop, and Audition. So because I'm using all of those programs, it's totally worth it.
yeah.
If I was just using one or two, I think you could do like a la carte stuff if you're only going to use one program.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's miles ahead of like having to pay $800 in a one-time go.
Oh yeah. Pro Tools is, like the standard, but it also is pretty much the same as Audition. Like the layout might be slightly different, but the concepts are basically the same.
The thing about Pro Tools is like maybe 7 or 8 years ago, it was the only thing that did what it could do.
Yeah.
But now everything else is caught up. So
Yeah.
it's a lot more of just kind of find your preference and do whatever you like kind of playing field. So I like Ableton Live because it's geared more towards like electronic music production.
Yeah, that can do music, like, whereas I don't think Audition does any music creation in it. It's just mixing.
You can do it. It's just not. It's geared more towards like editing a single waveform than doing multi-track stuff.
But you can do some crazy shit with Adobe Audition.
Yeah.
Like with the filters and things.
Just
like
with
you can,
like all the built-in effects, yeah, you could do a lot of stuff.
like the album that Lance and I did together, which I have all the music for somewhere. I'll play a song on this episode.
On my old YouTube channel that doesn't exist anymore, I recorded everything and mixed everything just in Audition. Just using their preset plugins and things.
Yeah, so I did that in Audition as well. I just added the studio reverb, did a little bit of the leveling and all that stuff, equalizing. And it actually sounds pretty decent for something that someone who's never done anything before has done. And I recorded that. The singing vocals that I did and the guitar were recorded on a Microsoft USB Life headset, like a $40 headset, and it still sounds good because when you put that studio, like the Audacity or the Audition, like crazy like studio presets on it, it really fixes the quality. Like, because when you're recording like vocals and you're recording, guitar, you don't take just the straight tone. You add a little bit, of reverb to it and a little bit of, like stuff to it, and then it starts to sound decent, when it's mixed together. And that was always really interesting. I was like, I can't believe how good this sounds for how
you can get away with a lot of stuff if you just say you're going for like a punky garage rock sound.
Oh yeah, I was like, this is just a demo. Like, this is just us fucking around. Like Lance playing guitar and me singing, and then the band broke up. Lance broke up the band. He didn't want me singing. He just started recording himself, and then he started asking if he could use my computer to record his vocals and stuff, and I was like, no.
It's like, I'm going solo, man.
Like, exactly, for this shitty band that we didn't even have. You know what I mean? Like, it was ridiculous. He just immediately was like, I gotta cut John out of this. I was legitimately pissed at him for that. So I was like, this is something we're not even really doing. You know what I mean? And you're gonna cut me out of it.
Well, it'd be one thing if he was like, I'm going to do this stuff in addition to the stuff we're doing together.
And I don't want to rag on Lance. But former host. But, like, he's not a particularly good singer. I mean, I am no pro, obviously, although I have been professionally paid to sing. But I am no, like, master pro at doing, like, folk country vocals.
Yeah.
But, I sang in college. I got paid in college to sing. I got a scholarship and all that. But Lance just is not. He just doesn't have a pitch, I guess. He just can't hear pitch, I guess. It's like one of those people, I'm sure you've met someone like this before, where they're not on pitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and it's like, do you think this sounds good? Like, no offense, but, like, it's just not on there. You need a lot more practice and someone to tell you how to, like, form your voice into singing.
I can sing perfectly on pitch. You want to hear it?
Nope. Yes.
Thank
you for
How's that.
That was really messed up. Wow, so you have an auto-tuner on there?
Yeah, I got this vocal suite thing through work that I've been playing with. I'm just gonna leave it like this for the rest of the time. Is that alright?
That sounds like I'm talking to a serial murderer.
Alright, I'm back.
Fucking A. Oh, no, that's fun, though. Yeah, we'll have to add... Well, Matt, you're gonna have to do more with that in the future.
Yeah, I'm getting stuff set up so that I can kind of like hear... See, I can hear the keyboard. I don't hear myself talking.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
That's fine if you can't hear yourself as much, as long as you're not singing.
It screws me up if I can hear myself up.
Yeah.
So I'm like... But, yeah. I have it all hooked up now, so we can figure out something to do with that.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out segments and stuff where we can use that music, because that'll be fun as hell. That's right, it's the Mario Hour, and we're here to talk all things Super Mario Brothers. Matt, what do you got to say? There we go. This is a hot beat.
That's all I got.
Do you have any rap beats that I can freestyle to?
Not ready to go.
All right, we'll do that.
You can do this. How about this?
That is too fast. I'm not some angry rapper. I'm not Eminem. I need a smooth beat. Some icy cold hot beats. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can make you a rap beat.
Oh fuck yeah, we'll do it.
Not right now though.
No, in future. That's a tant. Yeah, so we talked about audio, we talked about panic attacks. What else we got to talk about?
I've been listening to this podcast.
Okay.
How to do everything.
We can't talk about other podcasts. It's
yeah, we can.
It's against the rules.
No.
All right, what is it?
So it's an NPR podcast, so it's got a lot of resources at their disposal.
A lot of vocal fry.
No. Well,
No?
yeah, actually.
How to do everything.
Well, it's the podcast I would make if I had infinite resources at my disposal. It's
Oh, I
kind
know,
of
right? If I could spend all day working on it.
So, one episode, somebody asked how to look cool while you're waiting for somebody. So they called up Henry Winkler and asked his advice.
Oh, of course. You got to ask the Fonz.
Let's see. They talked to a priest about possessions. They just grab people that are already in the NPR studios for the legitimate interviews and ask them stupid questions. Yeah. And then it's all highly edited, Radiolab style.
Yeah, that is probably one of my favorite shows, Radiolab.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, NPR puts out some good shit. Although I don't think Radiolab is NPR. They're just PRI,
really?
public. Well, they're just WNYC. I think they're just.
I thought that was connected with NPR, though.
It might be. I don't really know. I mean, I don't know what NPR is. Because you have your This American Lifes and whatnot, and I don't even know if those are strictly NPR. They may not be owned by NPR, but NPR licenses them or something and airs it. Because I think they say they're Public Radio International, which might be a different company, but NPR airs their shows that they put together. So I mean, it's kind of the same thing. But they might not just be fully funded by NPR's money. They might have their own funding sources and drives that they don't share with NPR, basically. But there are a lot of other great NPR shows. They put on good podcasts, huh? They really decided to go with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're bringing podcasts back.
Yeah, bringing them back, huh? It was funny, too, because I have people at work that had never heard of a podcast before until... what the fuck is the goddamn name of that show?
Serial. I have that on my phone. I haven't started listening to it yet.
Really? The first season?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Is it going to make me super depressed?
No. Well, yeah, but no. It's going to make you more like, what the hell happened? Because there's no answers. Okay. I'm going to tell you that right now. It is not resolved at the end.
Oh, man.
And
See, most of what I listen to is weird history or tech stuff.
Yeah.
So
I listen to video gaming
I'll mix
shows.
in a little bit of... Yeah, I listen to that too.
And sports.
I'll mix in a little bit of Fresh Air or Reveal or something. But if that starts to get too heavy, then I got to take a break from it.
Yeah, that Terry Gross, she gets thick and deep in it. She looks exactly like how you think she would sound as well.
Really?
Terry Gross. Just look up what she looks like.
Let's see.
She looks exactly like what an NPR person would look like. Come on, Matt.
I'm typing. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Glasses.
Do you ever listen to
light hair.
A Fresh Air show and you get really into the interview and then at the end they say, that was recorded 13 years ago.
Oh, I know, right? That person is
you
dead
son
now.
of a bitch. Or you're just reusing old content on me.
Oh, I know. That happens every week when This American Life puts out an episode that's from 4 years ago. They're like, you bastards. Put out a new episode. I expect you to produce 52 high-quality radio shows that are an hour long a year, which is impossible.
Nah, it's not that hard. We should just start airing all Born in the 80s episodes.
Well, that's what the fellow little podcast network Famcom Dojo does.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they put out old episodes on the weeks that they don't have regular ones. So there's always an episode out. Yeah, which is kind of fun because they're not strictly... That's a show I listen to every week as well. Well, not every week, but every week, every time there's a new episode. I listen to. But yeah, they don't stick to just news topics in their episodes as well. So there's much more to it than that, which is kind of what I want to do with this show. So we can talk about the way that this show is structured. It's gone over a lot of changes in the years, huh?
Sure has.
Those of you that are listening, that have listened to every single episode, will know.
Poor dead Quizbot.
Well, we stopped having guests. Quizbot was just rusting away. I mean, and I lost the Quizbot cards. That's probably more about it. But so we made Quizbot back when we had guests on the show, like way early on. And Quizbot would just give questions to guests. And basically what was is Adam and I and Lance would just sit there and think of random questions to ask people. And then we would randomly shuffle them and pick like 3 questions out of the random shuffle. And that was fun. Keegan-Michael Key, who was on an episode, our probably greatest wide appeal episode, Keegan-Michael Key was on, and he did a Quizbot as well, and that was fun because he was up for it. Yeah, so Quizbot's not around, and then Lance joined because he fucking lived in the apartment I recorded in, so it was fine. It made sense. We never made him do it, but there was a point where it was like, Lance, you should just get in on this, because we'd finish recording, and then you'd come in and we would talk about hilarious shit for like 2 hours. And be like, why did we not just record that? Like, we'll just wait till you get home, and you can sit in a chair and tell about the people that you ran over today while delivering pizza. Like, I don't know. And then Adam moved away to Illinois. He left us. Adam is no longer with us. I said he's in Illinois. Rip in peace. Rest in power, Adam Ham. He then I got Tyler to join because I like talking to Tyler. And then Tyler and Lance had some fun. They had their issues on and off the podcast that led to both of them leaving for a bit. And then I got Lance to come back, and it was just Lance and me for a while. I believe, right? Did you came over for one of those? Maybe there was a period.
I don't remember.
Or I was having
It was
time.
the dark times.
It was the dark times, but I wanted to keep the show going because I love doing it every week. We still have listeners that have, and we get plenty of
They've
downloads
weathered the
every
storm.
week. They have weathered the storm, exactly. They deserve for me to go on as long as I can keep doing it. So then I started recording them over the internet with Adam, and that worked really well. We did that for a long time, and then Adam started making pastries, getting hypothetical, and not eating all day, apparently, until the exact time that we're recording the podcast. And not like we didn't plan this last week for this exact time the next week for you to plan around, but as Adam said, he's not the guy who plans ahead, so he was unavailable to record this time.
As long as I can be your cousin Oliver,
So
we can
yeah,
keep this
so
going.
you're the Poochie of the podcast, is what I'm saying.
I have to go. My people need me.
Yes, you died on your way home to your home planet. No. But I've always liked hanging out and talking with Matt, so it was natural. So we had done some stuff together with the network, and I was like, all right.
Dirty
Matt's
things.
around. Matt knows how to record things. Matt has opinions that are similar to mine in lots of technological and video game-ological settings. So, yeah, it's fun. I just want to give a shout-out to the Boudreaux family as well, if you're listening, Brett. But I saw the episode of Family Feud, and you guys won the shit out of that episode. So they won like $22,000.
That's awesome.
I know.
Also, can we borrow some of that money?
Yeah, can you just send 10,000?
Patreon.com.
I think half is fair. Yeah, patreon.com, Born in the 80s. We do actually have a decent amount of donations from that, but
That's awesome.
yeah, I know, it is awesome. I'd like to thank TJ again, who's our biggest contributor, Matt Hagg, our other contributor.
I support so many podcasts on Patreon.
Yeah, and I don't ask for much. Like, if you can just donate, what's the minimum you can donate? $1?
I think you can donate a penny if you want to.
Well, don't do that.
Don't do that. No, but like I would much rather give $1 to every podcast I listen to than listen to the same like Casper and and Blue Spoon ads over and over.
Holy shit. I haven't ranted about that enough, but there actually is a segment that I want to start doing on this show.
Okay.
That's called hashtag getting paid,
All right.
where I make up ads. I'm going to write fake ad copy,
All right.
and we'll do it.
For real companies or fake companies?
No, this is for fake companies.
All right.
I think the first one I thought up one in my head was Poop Box.
Nice. Wait, Cards Against Humanity did that.
Yes, they did. They actually did. Adam bought that because he's an idiot.
Did he actually get a box of shit?
Yes, he did. I
did he
don't
do
know
with
why
it?
he just thought they wouldn't go through with it. I don't know. But no, but like Poop Box, I guess all other things. You know, we've got I don't know what. There's Casper mattress. What do we got? We got Slimer mattress. You'll be covered in ectoplasm every night. Yeah, no, but you know what I mean? Like, and do these live ad reads because they fucking suck. And I hate them in every podcast that I listen to.
I really didn't mind them until I started listening to 8 hours of podcasts a day, and now they're really great on me.
It's not too bad if you listen to one or two shows. And I don't mind.
Well, you realize it's the same companies for every single podcast.
Yeah. And having dealt with podcast advertising and how the monetary parts of that work is you don't get paid shit for those ads.
Yeah.
You get paid usually commission with. So if they say like use the code bang bang to get 10% off, if they don't use that, if you buy something and don't use that code, they won't get any money off of it. They're usually paid
and
off
they
of,
get free advertising for that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. But it's just like. What else is there to do other than Patreon, which I really do appreciate and like.
I really like how Patreon took off for podcasts. So when it came out, the creator of that is Jack Conte from Pomplamoose, and so I was already a big fan of him, and I was following it when it came out. And it originally launched like just totally geared at musicians, but then this whole podcast thing came out of nowhere, and it's perfect for them.
But it makes sense because if you're putting out like we do 4 episodes a month, you know, you just donate $1 a month or $2 a month, and then you get 4 episodes. And if I don't put out 4, you can yell at me through the comment section of that. We're pretty good with this though. And now that we have 3 people rotating, as long as 2 of us can make it, then we can have a show. So it's a little bit more safe. But so. Patreon's just great because it really is a great way to just pay creators every month to help get a wage. Whereas like Kickstarter, I always think when people kickstart podcasts or kickstart, like a podcast is weird because it's like you get money up front for something that you're going to record more episodes in the future. Like it's really weird because it's like
you have to break it down by seasons, and that's kind of weird for a podcast.
Yeah, I know that.
It feels like it's trying to shoehorn it into like the old models of media.
Well, and like I know Famicom Dojo is going to probably do a Kickstarter, and I will.
Kickstarters are great for podcasts.
No, but they don't do just podcasts though. They also put together videos and shorts and all sorts of cool stuff on their YouTube channel, which makes more sense for that. It's like we need some money to pay for like bandwidth, recording time, buying all these weird, crazy Japanese video game things to talk about, and that makes sense to me. But for a podcast, which is relatively cheap to produce, I wonder how much hosting costs for these big podcasts. Because like This American Life talks about how much they have to pay in hosting.
Yeah, if they host it on their own servers.
Why don't they just host it on a hosting service? Because supposedly Libsyn, which we use, for $20 a month, you have unlimited bandwidth.
Supposedly, but I think if you get into American Life numbers, they probably would put a cap on it.
I mean, This American Life has hundreds of thousands of downloads a week, I believe.
Yeah.
So that is insane. Whereas we're breaking thousands of downloads a month. Nowhere near the amount of bandwidth being spent there, but I mean, it's relatively cheap. I mean, the website that I use, this is like a Kickstarter or a Patreon promo. The website that I use, software, I use Bluehost to host the website, which we don't really need for the podcast, but I like having a website because it just is a place to call my own. and to put the episodes up on, so you don't have
And you
to
get that SEO.
Yeah, you don't have to just go through iTunes to get to episodes and stuff. I hate SEO chasing, by the way. YouTube
Yeah,
shit.
I don't.
Holy fuck, it bothers me.
I have a standardized spreadsheet of tags and things for a YouTube video, but that's it. I don't think too hard about it anymore. Because it's all witchcraft. It means nothing and it does nothing.
Yep, and except for when it does, and then you're like, shit, I figured out the mysteries of the universe of YouTube.
Yeah, my most popular video, I had no idea what I was doing for SEO, and it just exploded. And every time I've tried to optimize, it just fell flat.
It doesn't really matter. And then that's the thing that really bothers me too about all of these ads on podcasts and stuff. So let me break it down. It's like $120 a year to host the website, like $130. Oh, plus the domain names, so probably like $150 to host the website. And the podcast is $240 a year. So 204. Wow, this is adding up in my head now. But when you pay monthly, it doesn't seem to make a big dent. But we're talking under $500 a year to host and edit and do all the stuff for the podcast.
I'd like to see more websites go the Patreon route. Like for Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm, there's third-party websites like Hotslogs that I go to.
Yep.
For services that aren't baked into the game.
Yeah.
Like stat tracking and stuff. And I use ad blockers because I don't want malware. But they have these things that show up in the ad spot that says we make money off of ads, please whitelist us. But instead, I would love to see sites like that say we make money off of ads. If you don't want us to have to do that, click here to go to our Patreon page and cover our monthly budget. I would pay money for that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, I talked about this a couple episodes back, but Jim Sterling, the YouTube auteur, former escapist, writer and I'm not movie, but video content creator guy, left Escapist and went straight to Patreon, and now he just makes a living off of Patreon. Mm-hmm. He makes something, I don't remember how much, it's like $30,000 a month or something like that. Something like that, maybe $10,000 a month or something, but whatever. He probably gets other sponsorships and stuff to do outside of that, but that's a way to go. And he puts out content. He doesn't have to worry about YouTube Content ID. He doesn't have to worry about anything about monetizing anything because he doesn't have to do ads. It's just
the funny thing about the mega creators that are self-sustaining on Patreon is it's like half of 1% of their fan base that's donating to them, and that's enough to keep them going. That's enough to offset all of the bull that you would have to deal with for advertisements and stuff. Yeah. So it really doesn't take much.
Yeah. So if you think about hosting the podcast, it costs me about $35 a month to host everything. And so if I can get 35 people and more than that listen to this show every week, could just donate $1 a month, then it's paid for entirely. I don't have to worry about paying out of pocket for it. And that's all I really care about, because I do it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
I do it because I enjoy creating. I enjoy talking. I enjoy being part of the podcast universe. I enjoy having a show, doing a show every week. I enjoy the fans like Brett and TJ and Jordan, all the people that write in and stuff all the time that like to listen, and I love it, and that's what I love doing about it.
There's a huge psychological boost to people like this enough to put money down on it, so I'm doing something worthy with my time.
I don't even care about that. I mean, to me,
whenever I get a patron for my music stuff, it's okay, so I'm not just crazy. I other people do like what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I love it. I love Patreon, and I hope it continues to be great. And it's perfect for monthly shows, because if you're a Patreon donator, you can always stop subscribing. It's shit. I don't have any money. I got to stop paying $5 a month for this. Sorry, but it's it's fine. You pay what you can. That's the way it is, man. I love it. And I love you guys for listening. I love Matt for being on the show. But that's how this show gets made, huh?
That's how the sausage gets made.
That's how the sausage
Also,
is.
there's a lot of Google Docs in the background.
Yeah. I have a running Google Doc. I can't access Google Docs at work anymore on my work computer. I talked about this a little bit last week. My work computer is just like completely fucked. I can't access Google Docs for some reason, so I have to like email myself articles and then get to them. But we do have some news that I need to talk about, so we should move on.
All right.
But
News of the week.
I really hate.
That's the news jingle.
Let me get another take on that, but I just want a final rant about ads on podcasts. I hate them because they break up the flow of conversation. Yeah. It just really is jarring, especially when they're in the middle of a show. Particularly, there's a podcast which is incredible. The McElroy brothers are really funny. They're well known. They're friends of Lin-Manuel Miranda, creator of Hamilton, the musical. But they do a show called My Brother, and Me, and it's really funny. But then they have like a segment of the show called like the Ad Zone or like the Billboard, where fans donate money and then they get to say stuff for them on air.
Oh, really?
And then there is like ads that they read every week, and it's like, you guys are really funny, and I appreciate the jokes that you make about MeUndies.com. But after like a while, the jokes, they just aren't funny anymore. Like,
yeah,
you trying to inject humor into this ad read just isn't enough for me to like enjoy it, and it really just sucks the fun out of the show, because like that show is built on an incredible premise, similar to what we did in Born in the 80s, but they're older than we are, so whatever. We used to do Ask Lance, where we would go through Dear Abby questions. They do Yahoo Answers. So they find Yahoo Answers questions and answer them, and they're really funny. But we don't do that. But it kind of breaks up the flow, because that's the part I like listening to, and that's like the first half hour to 45 minutes, and then like the second half is just like ads and shit. And I just skip it, and it makes me. I don't listen to that show every week because of that. Because
Really?
It's too much effort for me to go through like finding the parts that I like about the show, because it's so inundated with ads for other shows on their Maximum Fun network and stuff. And
Yeah,
it's-
yeah. When they're
too
doing the
much.
Max Fun Drive, it's a little bit like I listened to Sawbones, which is Justin McElroy and his wife,
yeah,
talking about old timey medicine stuff, and I love that show. That is probably one of my favorite podcasts. And most of the time it's fine because I know there are ad breaks in the middle, and I know if I hit the 15-second forward button 5 times, it gets me to the exact right spot.
yeah.
But when they have a Max Fun Drive, it just goes on forever.
I appreciate that's how they're making their money, and
Yeah.
I don't think the McElroy brothers don't exclusively make money from podcasting. I know that Justin
Yeah,
and Griffin both work for Polygon.com, video game website, doing reviews and coverage and stuff.
Yeah.
Their brother Travis, I believe, exclusively makes money off of podcasting and the network, but it's not kind of a for everything kind of thing. So, and they do a lot of live shows and stuff too that makes money. So, but it's like, I don't know. I appreciate that people can make a living off of podcasting, and that's awesome, but I hate it when it comes at the expense of a show,
Yeah. I feel like people with their size audience should be able to do like a Patreon pretty easily.
Yeah, but as I say, I don't know what the deals are for them with their ads. They might be more lucrative because they have a much larger audience. But I mean, like Patreon takes a cut, and I don't know how much that would cost them as a company, because they're at the point where they're big enough to be like a company that makes money and pays like probably salaries. So I don't know if it makes more sense for them, but it just is kind of a weird space we're in with podcasting right now.
Well, and it's such a weird medium because it's got this legacy of podcasts are definitely always for free up front.
Yeah.
So to figure out a way to monetize that just puts everybody in an awkward position.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of the industry, the podcasting industry, is kind of working itself out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's kind of
And
finding.
There's not in like a central hub that you go to. Like with YouTube videos, the system can put an ad on the front of something, and you can take a cut of that. But this is just a bunch of disparate RSS feeds, and that's kind of why Apple doesn't really care about their podcast
No.
division at all, because
No.
they can't make any money off of it.
Yeah, I mean, Google Play has podcasts now that they put on, which is pretty awesome. We're on Google Play now, so if you have a Google Play subscription, or even if you don't, I think you can listen to podcasts for free, like with iTunes off there. So that's pretty awesome. It's just another way to get it out there. But we got to talk about news before we get done, because a bunch of video game news happened, and I got to get to it because I like to have my news segment. So, Matt, take it away. News. Video games. So Overwatch came out.
I'll work on that jingle.
Yes, Overwatch came out this week, and a lot has been happening. I purchased it. I don't know if Matt has.
I haven't bought it yet. I will on a future paycheck.
Yep. Yeah. So they have a $40 edition as well, and on Amazon, I believe it's $50 right now for the $60 version. So,
All right.
which is pretty awesome because I actually got the physical copy through Amazon for $60. But if you're a Prime subscriber, you get 20% off pre-orders. So it was actually $48. And then they lowered the price $10 like a day after release, and they credited me that $10 as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I ended up paying $40 for the game with all the extras. So it's pretty fucking awesome. Amazon's great for pre-orders and stuff.
That game is blowing up.
Yeah, well, it's great. It's so fun. I mean, if you look at like the cosplay scene, it's huge because you have all these different heroes and costumes. You have a genre that's not necessarily underserved, but like a genre that needs something new,
Yeah, and it's
been stale for a while.
It's been this like super realism war stuff for a long time. And
Yeah, but that's changing now because you have Battleborn, you have Paragon coming out, you have this game where they're much more fantasy, fun, action, combat, explodey, MOBA-esque.
And even Doom is this like harkening back to this explodey fun time.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing a move of shooters to their roots, and Battlefield 1 is going to be World War I themed as well. So we're seeing kind of a change from the near future military shooter, which is cool. But I got some news stories I want to talk to you about. Overwatch stories. Let's get those done. So if you like music and sound mixing and foleying, there's a really interesting story about where the hit sound in Overwatch comes from. So when you shoot someone, it makes a little pip noise when you hit them, so you know that your hits land and the little X happens on your crosshairs to know that you hit. And the noise that it makes, the guy who created it goes into it. I guess the collector's edition source book, if you bought like the super fancy one. Sound design supervisor Paul Ackey explains where the sound came from when you hit people, and it sounds great. I love it. It's very satisfying. But the hit pip sound is, you want to know you made contact, and the sound needs to cut through the mix, but not like it comes from any hero. So it needs to sound like a very definite sound that doesn't sound like anything else, so you don't confuse it with like somebody else doing something. They still went through tons of iteration. Finally, one night, I thought it should be satisfying to hit an enemy, like a good satisfying sound. Just think about what's satisfying. Beer. So you literally opened a beer can, the sound is reversed and tweaked a little, and that is our hit pip.
That's awesome.
It is the sound mixed of a beer can opening. And he updated the story saying that the beer can was Tecate, specifically. So
that's unfortunate.
When you hit somebody with a gun, it makes the Tecate can opening noise, which is fucking awesome, huh?
I love that like film and game sound design stuff because it always comes from the most random.
Well, it's not a can; it's a beer bottle.
Oh, okay.
But same kind of idea. The sound of the carbon dioxide exiting a container in a satisfying way, because that sound when you crack a beer is just so good.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting piece of news. And then there's another thing that I thought was interesting as well. So you want to talk about tick rates?
Yes.
You heard about tick rates?
Nope.
Okay. So first-person shooters have things called tick rates. And that is what's happening server-side when you're playing. So what you're seeing and doing and what happens on a server in a game like Overwatch is not 100% in sync. The server's getting inputs from you, other people, and it's not instantaneous because it's going over the internet, through their server, back out to everybody else. The tick rate measures how often the server updates per second. Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Battlefield 4, their tick rate's 60 hertz. So like 60 frames per second, 60 hertz. That's what it is. And when it comes down to split-second reflexes and making snipe shots and everything, that's pretty big. Overwatch's tick rate, by default, is 20.8 hertz. So it's a third the tick rate of these other games. So you might not notice this initially, but if you're playing, and I noticed this when I was playing earlier today, especially with sniping, and you'll feel like you got around a corner in time, and then you'll see the hit death replay, and your character won't be as far over as you thought you were, and you got sniped. Because the difference in lag between the two people and what the server is interpreting as your position over time can happen. So, like, for instance, the person who wrote this article said he was being chased down by a Diva and a Mercy, and he was worried, and so they got pretty sloppy trying to go after him. They're right in his face, and he was like, I could pin that Diva. So he hit his charge button, made contact, and then he was dead. He was like, what the fuck happened? I charged. The replay happens, and of course, he never actually hit charge. He was killed by one of Diva's shots before he hit the charge button. And in that millisecond difference, it cost him, his kill, basically. And that happens, with anything. That's why if you watch Counter-Strike being played competitively, it's LAN. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
They're like, we need to play this on LAN. We can't do it over the internet because that's not fair. Because you're taking a little bit of server interpretation chance into the game. So a lot of people really, get offended when certain Counter-Strike tournaments do, internet for the group stages or something. And they're like, we want to be LAN play the whole way. So there's a couple people that have done videos on YouTube doing some netcode analysis, and they said the highest measured delay was 105 milliseconds, which is insane. On average, it was about 90 milliseconds and 67 milliseconds, which is a relatively high ping for high-speed internet. And so I guess Overwatch can be played at 60 hertz, but it's only in a custom game mode. They have a video announcing a high tick rate mode that can help out a lot, and that is supposedly for the competitive playing. So it's kind of interesting. They kind of defend themselves in saying that their netcode works in a different way. Their server has some proprietary home-built software that does prediction and stuff for player movement, which is the way they're all built. And it's kind of crazy when you think about how these shooters work, is that it's taking all this input from 12 people, and for fucking Battlefield it's 20 on 20, insane. But you have these 12 people in a map and taking all that information down, and the server is predicting based on the way your character's moving and your momentum, where you're going to be, and then calculating, okay, this person shoots to this point. Would character X be at that point when that shot would be hitting? Yes, okay, that's a hit. All in the background on computers. That's crazy. So basically, they're saying, this could be an issue because, if high-level players are like, well, I get fucked by lag all the time, I'm not going to stick with this game because it's just I could play a game where my Twitch shooting skill is more rewarded than others. So I guess that's something they need to think about or work on or address more, and we'll see, I guess, what's going on with that. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But when you think about the way that game is made, there isn't a lot of characters that are shooting sniper shots. I mean, a lot of it is area of effect. You have grenades blowing up. You have rockets blowing up in areas of effect and stuff. So it's not necessarily all Twitch shooting, but for people that are sniping or using Hanzo and shooting arrows or Genji throwing the projectiles, people that are doing the Twitch stuff could be affected by this, and it could be frustrating. So it is something to look at.
It'll be interesting to see if this is something that they beef up over time.
I mean, it probably could be.
Maybe the massive server loads caught them off guard a bit, or something.
I mean, it's obvious the game can be run at 60 because they have ability to turn it on for custom games. So Maybe that's just something that they could work into the game. You know, they can work on this server load that takes. I mean, it's 3 times the amount of data because it's rather than the server communicating, 20.8, frames per second, it's doing 60. So that's a lot more data, but we'll see. I haven't noticed too many problems with it. It doesn't seem to be like that crazy. But if you're someone who's into that, as a shooter fan, that could be.
If you've really got the reflexes for it, I'm sure it sticks out like a sore thumb. But I'm old and slow.
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting too because people are like talking about Bastion in the game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Bastion is a character who is Matt. Why don't you explain what Bastion is? Because I've been talking a lot.
Bastion's a robot with a heart of gold.
He's got a bird pal.
He transforms into a bringer of death turret.
Robot with bird friend. That's his working and title character.
But people don't like him because when you're in turret mode, you can get these huge multi-kills that will end up being play of the game.
Yep.
Even though if you know how to deal with the Bastion, he's pretty easy. You hook him with Roadhog or he's a stationary turret.
Yeah.
You can take him out.
That's correct.
But yeah, I like him a lot. He's a lot of fun. He's got a lot of character. He's got this sort of BB-8 vibe to all of his vocalizations.
Yes. So if you watch him, or if you look on, just search on Reddit or on Google or anything, it's just like, is Bastion overpowered? Bastion's OP. Bastion's way overpowered. Just all this stuff. There's a couple funny images here. There's a play of the game. This fucker as Bastion in his fucking turret form. And another one. When you see this, you died. And it's Bastion in his tank form. Breaking news. Bastion gets play of the game. This has never happened before. Once in a lifetime event. Breaking news. So it's salt-powered robot, he's called.
I just love how this is a day after the game came out that people were posting this stuff, and they don't even try to figure out how to play around it. They just go, "Oh, I died to him. He's overpowered." Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's kind of how the game works, though, because it's just. These memes are amazing, though. This just Bastion, because but I've seen a lot of Maze getting play of the game. Junkrat gets a ton plays of the game because of his crazy wheel of death that kills 6 people. I got a play of the game today.
I saw Torbjorn. He got play of the game by setting up a turret and then immediately dying, and then his turret got 4 or 5 kills.
Yes, there's a really funny video of this Torbjorn who's a character who creates turrets. And he had created a turret and got shot and killed, and he's just slowly falling down the side of a hill, like his corpse, while his turret's up there just killing everyone. He's getting all of these kills, and it just goes, play the game. Him just being dead, and it's that's just...
Carbot Animations did an animated version of that, and it's glorious.
Yeah. Yes, I saw the animated version of that. So, Blizzard basically is like, hey... So there's a funny, because the Overwatch thing says, hey, we'd recommend you try countering Bastion as Hanzo, Genji, or Widowmaker. Hero switching is a main element to Overwatch. And that is so fucking true. Because those characters, and that's the thing, is that I think the number one thing people don't realize...
Dude, just learn how to play around it.
Yes. Overwatch is all about switching heroes. It's like, oh shit, they got a Bastion set up at the base. I've got to be, someone who's fast, they can get behind him, someone who can snipe from a long range, like Hanzo, who can actually shoot arrows around corners with his bouncy arrows. Widowmaker, who can snipe him from outside of his range if you can get a shot lined up. You can get, there's so many counters. Farah, the rocket launch person, it's 3 rockets, will pretty much take care of him, and you can hop in and out pretty quick from a corner with her. There's so many counters to it. It's just that people are just unable to realize that, oh shit, me playing as Reaper can't kill fucking Bastion. I don't want to ever switch from my favorite hero.
Well, the same thing happens with Heroes of the Storm whenever there's a new hero, except for Chromie, because Chromie just sucks a lot. But they
that's
always,
what I've heard.
There's cries of overpower for a week, then everybody figures out how to counter this new hero, and everybody's fine for now.
Yeah, so Junkrat works as well for him because you can arc, grenades over corners or over a little thing that you can hide behind to hit him. I mean, just there's so many counters. I mean, Roadhog's the funnest because you can throw your hook at the Bastion turret, and that takes him out of turret form and pulls him directly into your shotgun, which is quite fun. So it works really well. And of course, Genji is the hard counter because he has the ability to deflect bullets back at the person shooting.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That's a nice stream of bullets you got there, Bastion. It would be a shame if someone were to ... deflect it. And it instantly kills the Bastion.
Well, and most of their team, if you get it right. I saw a play of the game that was the enemy team's Bastion, and it was just Genji deflecting everything into the other players.
Oh, yeah, because, he can do a deflect. One of my favorite moments I ever saw is a play of the game, which is probably why the game is so popular, is these plays of the game can be easily shared and put in GIF form.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to, like, even if you're not someone who plays the game, be able to see some cool stuff happening in the game. But I saw a really awesome one where Hanzo used his ultimate, which is like a kind of a shot that shoots twin dragons on like a little column in front of him that kind of basically kills anything in its way. And Genji deflected it back at them and killed the entire team with it, which was pretty awesome because you can deflect that attack, I guess, which is fucking amazing.
Just like in the short.
Yeah, just like in the short, exactly. So basically, there's a lot of heroes, 21. It's impossible for you to know how to play all of them correctly. But if you have, a good 5 or 6 heroes that you play a lot, you can find counters to pretty much everything. I love it. And I love that game because there's so many different ways to play it, and there's so many different heroes to try, and you could play against bots to practice, and you still get experience to gain loot boxes from playing against bots. So even if you're afraid you're going to suck, you can play on a team against medium bots and still win the game, but actually feel like you're learning how to play your character, which is really nice. So I really like the way the game's built in that way. But
I want to play this game now.
Yeah, it's really good.
But I have no money.
Where are we at, time-wise? I know I really want to play Doom, but I can't because.
Oh yeah, I want that too.
My video card probably wouldn't handle it, but
I still haven't gotten through the Far Harbor stuff.
Yeah, I'm telling myself
I haven't
I'm gonna
been playing any games. All my time's been going into finishing this video.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's just kind of like I'm gonna wait for that game to be cheaper and me to get a new graphics card because I am spending too much money on games. This has been a really banner year for a lot of good games coming out, so I'm just gonna have to wait on that one. Play it because that's a single player game. Mostly.
This is the first time in years that I've had a computer that was capable of playing new games, so I'm just kind of going nuts. And I'm still just catching up on old games. I'm still playing like Portal and Dead Space and all the stuff that I missed over the years. Yeah.
Okay, so we got 2 quick stories to get through before we end the show. No Man's Sky, the game Adam and I had talked about a lot in the past. The ambitious space exploration shooter, builder, exploring game. Rumor is it has been delayed. It was supposed to be coming out in June 21st of 2016. And supposedly this leaked during a update to GameStop stores saying the release date for No Man's Sky has changed since the provided posters were printed. Please use a coming soon pop-on to cover up the date and communicate as needed to your guest about the change of the release. It is now coming soon. It's supposed to be out in June, like less than a month from now. It's getting delayed. And this is a game that was first shown in 2013. It's been almost 3 years since this game was debuted, and it's still not out, which is pretty crazy. That it's not here. I mean, that's a game I've really been looking forward to because it's basically like a giant exploration game, and I love exploring, and I love space games, and I love flying around in ships in space and landing on planets and finding crazy aliens and doing all sorts of fun stuff. And this is kind of feeling like more like Spore than ever before. Like,
man,
is this game gonna be as good as it says it's gonna be?
Burned so hard by Spore.
Oh, me too. I was so excited when
that game promised the world.
Yes, and it gave you the world, but it wasn't anything more than like what that demo was. You're like, oh, the universe isn't what I thought it was going to be, which kind of sucked. But I hope this is good. But that got delayed. And there's more rumors about Microsoft's plans for E3 this year. This year, we're going to see a cheaper, smaller Xbox One, which is codenamed... oh, no, that's the newer one. But so this year, they're going to have a cheaper, smaller Xbox One that has a 2 terabyte hard drive and just runs cheaper. You know, it's not using as much power. It's smaller. It's a slim version. You know, and it's...
so that's more like PlayStation's mid-cycle upgrade
that makes sense.
To do.
It's been 3 years, so yeah, I'll give the slim version.
Whereas PlayStation's now doing like the small upgrade.
Well,
Microsoft's doing the slim version.
Well, they're doing a slim version, and next year, 2017, the Xbox codename Scorpio.
Oh boy.
Has a more powerful GPU, supposedly, is what they're doing. And that's going to be coming out in 2017. And then also talks with Microsoft trying to pursue a partnership with Oculus.
Okay. That's where this is coming from.
To be able to power a VR headset through the Xbox One is their plan. So we'll see. Project Helix is the 2-console overall strategy. Is to having the more powerful prestige VR capable console and then the cheaper one, you know, which is their plan. So seems very similar to what the PS4 Neo is going to be. And we'll see. They're saying it wants to be 4K with the GPU upgrade and all that stuff. So it's happening. We're going for it, huh? Anyway. That's
I don't have any interest in the console market anymore.
I'm kind of done too now. I mean, PCs are where it's at.
Maybe like once Nintendo's thing comes out, if it's like super mind-boggling, but it's
I'm looking forward to the NX. As a proud Wii U owner and enjoyer of the games on it, Nintendo's brand of fun is only available on their systems, and I really hope that the NX is great. And I can enjoy more of it there. Whew, I'm dead.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, what were you saying? Sorry, continue.
I was just gonna say that I wouldn't mind getting a Nintendo as like a couch and like social system, but then I would need a couch and friends.
Well, you can work on that.
Yeah, I got like a year.
That's right. You got until next year supposedly. So we'll talk more about stuff next week. Hopefully Adam will be here. I want to do another middle school diary entry next week, so you can look forward to that. What else did we tant earlier in the episode? The Matt was going to have music for a segment. Tanted. That's the tanted noise. No, but yeah, we'll have I don't know, something. We'll keep putting out episodes. So I'll tant the fake ads and all that stuff. That's work I gotta do. So look forward to that in the future. Keep subscribing on iTunes. Leave us a review. The website's bornintheeighties.net. You can leave comments there. I actually get them now, so that's a plus. Or you can follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, Born in the 80s podcast on Facebook, everything. You can find us anywhere. And we love you for listening. Matt, what's your final thought of the week?
Panic attacks.
Panic attacks. They're no fun.
No fun.
Hey,
that's
Matt.
just.
No, we're not going to start recording.
Okay.
Let's get set up a bit. Now I don't know what to talk about.
Yeah, I'm light on the topics this week. I didn't really do that much.
That's good. I got something we can do.
Okay.
Because I know you're a kawaii anime fan.
That's not true at all.
I've got the complete spring 2016 anime guide.
Oh, good.
And we can learn all about The Animaways.
The Animaways?
The Animaways that are on this spring and summer.
I'm gonna do something that hopefully.
Oh, this doesn't have descriptions in it. I thought this would have descriptions. It has what it's about in one sentence. There's 100 of them.
Check. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Now I can't hear you. Matt has died.
Check.
Oh, hey, you're back. You left us for a minute. Matt, you're gone again. My cat's meowing. This anime guide isn't as good as I thought it would be. But we'll have fun with it.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Cool.
What were you doing?
I was decreasing the delay on my side because I have my. It's still. I'm just gonna not have it coming through my headphones at all because that fucks me up.
All right. What, hearing your own voice in your head?
Yeah, because even when I have it on a minimum delay, there's just a little bit of delay, and it makes me. I try to sync up with what
Yeah.
I'm behind, and then I sound drunk.
Is that because you are drunk?
Yes, not yet though. So does it still sound good?
Huh?
Does it still sound good?
Oh, sounds great.
Okay.
Sounds grape.
Sounds grape.
Yep. I'm gonna grape you in the mouth.
Nope.
What?
Oh, you know what I can do? I can
What?
continue messing with stuff.
What do you mean?
I can make it through so that I can hear the keyboard,
Yeah.
but I don't hear my own voice.
That's good to hear.
Check. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Stop
probably not.
scratching. Hi, other cat. Oh, this is all gonna go in there. My cats are chasing each other around. You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right.
Which is studio.
Oh, fuck. I accidentally clicked on that. Live. Yep, I hear it.
I hear it too.
That's good to hear. All right, let's start.
Okay.
Rainy dog, gonna find a way. Rainy dog, gonna sleep someday. Rainy dog, gonna catch his breath. Rainy dog, gonna catch his death. Every time I try to help, folks wind up dead. Every time I try to help, folks they turn red. Every time I try to please, they end up hurt. Every time I try to ease, they're in the dirt. Rainy dog, feel that draft. Rainy dog, who's gonna laugh? Rainy dog, blood on your boots. Rainy dog, blood on your roots. Every time I try to help, folks wind up dead. Every time I try to help, folks, they turn red. Every time I try to please, they end up hurt. Every time I try to ease, they're